Last week was International Kindness Day, I think a week ago on last Monday. And we have a lesson that we do with the children on kindness that day. And we show a video from I can't think what it was called now off the top of my head, which is silly because I'm going to teach it on Friday. But Life Boy, Life Jacket, is that what it's called? And it's a video that's showing from Pay It Forward, so the children can be encouraged that way to how their kindness affects the whole world. It's like a stacking pyramid. If you could help one person today, that person is encouraged and feel that you've helped them. They'll help another person, and it goes on and it grows like a pyramid. And it's a very beautiful video, and the children really, really understand kindness through those demonstrations of being kind, how it affects other people. And you can ask them how it is for them to be when they have kindness done to them, when somebody does something to help them. And we get them to very simply perhaps help at home and do things without being asked to do them in school, very practical things. So they go home and they tidy up their room. So that very, with these younger children, just practical things about kindness is a big deal for them to understand it, to begin to understand it. And they naturally have kind natures anyway, so you're just growing that little seed of kindness.
I think that answering us Wendy's question, I have also made myself that question very often, right? I mean, not only for the children, even by myself, right? How to be kind towards my enemy, perhaps, right? So if we try to make the children understand that really that what we call enemy, right, is perhaps going through a difficult moment, or perhaps is lacking some, I don't know, love, lacking of somebody paying attention to that person, or whatever problem, if we try to understand the situation, because we never know what situation the other person is going through, right? Mm-hmm. So this we must always keep in mind. We don't know. So perhaps if we were in their place, we also would be angry, and we would also be abusing them or hitting them or something like this. So if we try to put ourselves in the place of others, perhaps then we can feel some kindness towards that person instead of looking at the person as enemy. That's what I try to tell the children, right? When they find themselves in this situation. Yeah, something like that, I think.
So it always seems to come back not only to one's own experience, but to imagination, to be able to get into the other person's shoes, doesn't it? And that can be very difficult because if a high caste student really doesn't know what it's like to be an untouchable or from that caste in India, because they would have been encouraged never to go near those people's huts, for example, they'll have to use their imagination to see how that other person lives, what it would be like, or what it would be like to be there with an abusive mother or father who drinks and so on and so forth, and gets them to do hard work and come to school without feeding them properly. Then one could generate a lot more empathy for the other person. It seems, doesn't it, with all of this, that emotions are something that adults and children have the most difficulty with, obviously. Emotions going wild. So to help, one has to work with that, doesn't one? How to make friends and with our emotions and work with them so they don't totally destroy, and they can be understood and worked with. And then we'll have more space to work with the other, who right now seems like a very, very big enemy. But when you look at how adults are behaving in the world, it's going to be a tough job, isn't it? But totally possible.
The final thing we did with our kindness lessons this year has been that I found a poem. Kindness is a boomerang. So in Australia, if you throw that boomerang, it comes back to you. So kindness always comes back to you. it will be repaid over and over again, which is rather a nice thought.